Hello YouTube, and welcome to another Zen in the Art of Miniature Painting video. And today's video is going to be a sort of review but also a plug for a company whose product I really like. The company is called Warbases. Their website is www.war-bases.co.uk, and what they make essentially is movement trays, bases, MDF buildings, and a few other accessories such as carriages and whatnot to spice your tables up with. So they're a UK-based company, and they're an exceptionally easy company to deal with. I've never had any issues with them at all. One of the best things about them was they will cut anything you need to order. They're not rigid in that sense. So in other words, if you send them an order and say, look, I need bases cut in odd shapes and sizes and in odd quantities, they tend to be able to do it for you. I sent them an order for some really odd imperial measured bases for Fire and Fury in 15mm, and I got my stuff in a few days. It takes a bit of a wait, obviously, because I have to manufacture it, but it was well worth the wait, and the finish is absolutely sublime. It's MDF. This is a 2mm base. It's nice low profile. The edging is already dark, which means you don't need to paint the edges if you don't want to. I tend to not bother, and it has that wonderful burnt kind of smell when you open them out of the packaging for the first time. So what you've got in front of you here is just a selection of the bits and pieces that I've ordered from them. They will, like I said, they will cut anything that you need in a timely fashion. So definitely worth a shout. And we've got some sort of, this is a DBX sort of sized base. It's 60 by 20, I think, or 60 by 30, and again the 2mm, a square base here, which is for like artillery pieces or whatever, in 28mm, and then these are quite cool. They're like an insert. So what you've got is a base, which is, you can see they've glued two together on the edge there. But again, the gluing is done in such a way that it doesn't really detract from the overall visual. I mean, you might want to just give it a rub with a knife to make sure it's 100% level, but generally they do a good job of sticking it together themselves. The What they've done is they've taken a flat piece of MDF, and then they've stuck this grid on the top, and it's a 20mm hole, 20mm diameter hole, and the bases go in like that. And you tip them out. So what you can do really is you can take your troops and base them individually for things like sharp practice, or any game. If you wanted to play sort of muskets and tomahawks uh, with your ranked up troops, your 7 Years War guys or whatever, your American War of Independence Minutemen or something like that, and then you wanted to be able to use them as well in a skirmish game, it's really nice because you can mount them on here, they pop into the holes, you push them around the tabletop in a sort of sabot base, which you can decorate as well, because there's enough grip here for things like grit and that sort of thing. And then when you want to take, you can either remove casualties using these, or alternatively you can actually just convert a unit from skirmish to ranked. So that's nice. They also did for Dux Britanniarum, they did these sort of movement trays for ducks, and the really great thing is, again, you can individually mount your troops, and then when the time comes, pop them onto these trays, and the irregular shape of them is quite nice. Now they do these in various shapes, sizes, and numbers of bases. And again, I suspect that if you contact them and you ask them for something specifically, they will probably make it for you. So very easy to talk to. I sent them an email with everything I needed, and I got an email back saying, right, awesome, no worries, the total price will be the following. I shot them the money via PayPal, and a few days later everything turned up. So massively impressed with the customer service, hugely impressed with the quality of their product. They're not as expensive as some companies. It's not 100% cheap, of course, because it's not made of plastic, but the good thing is, compared to something like Renedra, where the base sizes are fixed, with this you get the luxury of being able to be a bit more picky if you want to. One of my big favourite ones, I'm just going to remove these from the picture for now. One of my big favourites from this whole thing is the wound counter, which you can see in the top right. Now, I don't know if anyone else has done something similar to this before, but this is a great use for your casualty figures that you oftentimes get with a set. And the really good thing is, if you have a look here, it's got a dial, it's got a little dial there, so it's 0 at the moment, 0 wounds, a nice flat base, and it's sandwiched there. And then what you can do is, you can actually shift it. So it goes from 0 to 12, and you can 0 to 12, and it just goes along, so it's a dial. And that's a bit rough at the moment, but I'm sure with use it kind of wears itself away. And what's nice is you pop a casualty figure on the top, paint it up as like a mini diorama, and if you're playing a game like Black Powder or Hail Caesar or anything where you can monitor the amount of shock that a unit takes or the amount of wounds that they take without removing individual figures, you can just put this next to the unit, and you can log it like that. I suspect also that they have multiple other uses, so you could use them as objective markers and maybe put the value of the objective on it. So if you're a 40k player and an objective is worth 3 victory points, put it on 3, pop this somewhere with some stuff on it to indicate that it's an objective, and you're good to go. Really nice little things. A lot of people in the historical wargaming community are using these at the moment. They are quite popular, and they're just really neat and tidy, and I really like them. Looking forward to using those for my casualties. Now I just wanted to quickly show you the difference. This is a 2mm base from Warbases, compared to a base that I got from Essex Bases, which is made of some sort of plasticky material, or almost a foam-like material. Um, that's a 3mm high base, so it's a little bit taller than the Warbases one. There is a post about Warbases on my blog, but I thought I'd do a video because they deserve it. The Essex one, it's a bit more rough cut. Oh, I must add, these are Warbases premium bases, because they cut nice and sheer, which is really good. These ones are a little bit more ragged. You have to paint the edges unless you want this lovely green colour. And I don't know, they just don't feel as solid. I'm not a massive fan. I bought these ages ago when I was into DBM and that DBA sort of thing. I'll use these eventually, but certainly from my personal taste are for these thinner, more low-profile bases. They are just absolutely a pleasure to work with. So there's just a little bit of comparison. If you are a Games Workshop player and you like to use the plastic bases, good for you. The beveled edge can be quite nice, but I just tend to find that I prefer a sort of nice perpendicular base edge. It suits my aesthetic appeal more, and I think that perhaps it might even be worthwhile getting some 25mm hold ones of these for things like 40k, to make some sort of movement tray specifically for your bigger units. Anyway, that's all for now. I just wanted to share this with you. I think it's definitely something worth getting. Look at that! Isn't that wonderful? In fact, I think this is a 15mm hole. Absolutely brilliant. Look at that. There you go. So that's all for now. Just a quick shout out to Warbases. They make a great product at a great price. Be sure to check them out. Their website's been redesigned somewhat recently by the look of it, and they're definitely worth checking out. They also do MDF buildings. The pricing is variable based on the base depth and size, obviously, and then also their terrain. They do all sorts of interesting things. They do horses. They do boars, Iron Age pigs, all sorts of odds and ends that you could possibly need. Yeah, the terrain is getting good reviews. Everybody I know who's into things like terrain is really enjoying that at the moment. So yeah, there we have it.